Welcome to a Senior Citizens Forum presented by Benefits for You2 Insurance Services. I'm Janice Wood, and at Benefits for You2 Insurance Services, we specialize in Medicare, and we also do health insurance, individuals, small group. But today we're not going to talk about either one of those subjects. We're going to talk about security and passwords. And my guest today is Arash Ghodstinat, who's been my guest several other times. He's very popular on my show. He's one of my popular guests. But when I think about passwords and security, I'm thinking that the two are like, you can't have one without the other. They go together. And lately we're hearing so much about security breaches, big corporations being hacked into, ransoms having to be paid. I don't totally understand all that, but ransoms are having to be paid. Shortages at gas stations because of that. But just real quickly now to go back down into the senior citizen level, or even a non-senior citizen, or you're a person working from home from your company. So I'm going to give you a scenario. So let's say that we all like free Wi-Fi, and we decide we want to go to our local coffee shop, or we decide to travel and we need to stay in a hotel, and we're going to use that Wi-Fi system that is available for us for free. So we go online, we're either looking at our pictures of our grandchildren, reading a book, doing work. I have a friend that's a senior citizen that's taking a class in writing, and so she sits down and she writes. Well, let's just say you sit there and all of a sudden and you're thinking, I need to go into my bank account. I got this bill that needs to be paid. And so you go into your bank account, you use your debit card, and you pay that bill. An hour later, the next day or 2 days later, you go into your bank account. Guess what? There's no money in there, because when you did that on an unsecure site, you're opening up yourself for somebody to come in and steal your information.
Correct. Yes.
Right. So
okay.
Is that a rush? How do you like my lead into that? Okay.
I love your introduction. It was great, actually.
Yeah.
So I want to say good morning, everyone. Thank you, Janice, for inviting me. I would love to be in these shows and help as much as possible. So to inform and educate people regarding these the main issues. I just want to give a very short introduction. I'm the owner of ABC Computech, the managed IT service company that focus on small, medium businesses. And we've been in this business for around 10 years, and I've been in IT field and the software field for around 20 years. So very good start, Janice. Actually, it's very related. Password and security, and all these things nowadays are connected. And very good scenario that you brought up. If you go anywhere that you're uncertain about the connection, you don't have the secure connection, it's not your area, it's not your work, it's not your house, and you go to a coffee shop and sit down, please do not open your bank account. Do not go to some locations, private locations that you usually go, that you have financial transactions, you have very important files. If you're like a dentist, your insurance company, lawyer, that you have to follow HIPAA. You may know about this, but that's very important to follow those rules and to connect security. For example, if you go to somewhere and you want to open your work bank, everything, make sure you have a safe hotspot with you. And we're going to talk more about hotspot, which is on either your phone, or you have a very secure hotspot that you just purchase.
Now, I know for me as a senior citizen, I have an insurance business and I happen to deal with health insurance, okay? And any form of health insurance. Sure. I have to follow the HIPAA rules. That means I have to be compliant to make sure that my client's information is not stolen.
Exactly. That's very important.
So it doesn't make a difference. Your information, if you're home working or your home doing whatever it is you're doing, or your whatever it is, you have to make sure that everything is safe.
That's exactly right. Very important, actually, even at work. Work, definitely, you have to set it up. I think we talked it in our previous shows that if your work, you definitely want to make sure you have a good firewall. And we talked about firewall just to refresh the memory. Firewall is like you have a big house, you have a gate. You want to make sure your gate is the most secure area in your house, so no one can come in. But then when they come in, you want to have a good windows, doors, and everything, good locks, good security for those. So that's antivirus and anything, any layer that you put after the firewall. Firewall is a secure gate. So at work, you have to set up all these correctly. Mainly, you need to have a very secure and good backup. And when we talk about backup, we mentioned you need a local backup, at least two of them. So one inside and one outside. Means, for example, you have a dentist office, you are a lawyer, or any other business. You have to have a local backup, and you have to have a backup that you take outside of your office. And also you need a cloud backup that's every night, or at least a couple times a day, run the incremental backup and backup everything you have. Same thing for home. Home, you don't need that much of complicated, but always we recommend to use a secure backup, one cloud and one local. And also, one thing that people assume, and we're going to go over it more in detail after, I just don't want to go in depth right now, but if you have OneDrive, Dropbox, Google Drive, all these cloud-based like SharePoint, OneDrive, all these, if you have them, do not assume that if you get ransomware, you're safe. Because if you sync with your computer, when your computer gets something, it can sync with the cloud and kill all the files you have, and you cannot go back.
I can say that I happen to have Apple products, and I have had viruses.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. When you talk about backups, I'm trying to pull up my backup, okay, yes, without disconnecting it. That's what a backup looks like, okay? So it's important to have, and before we started the show, we were talking about the cloud and what kind of information you put on the cloud. And real quickly, for those that don't know what the cloud is, I like to look at the cloud like it's a file cabinet.
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
You're putting your files in the cabinet, and then you're going and you're locking it.
That's exactly right. And it's not in your location.
Right, and it's not my location. So it's not something up in the white puffy clouds that are in the sky.
But it's not in your location. So it means if anything happened, you brought a very good example. Let's say, for example, a fire happened in your house. It doesn't happen to anyone, but if the fire happened, if that file cabinet is in your house, it's going to burn. But if it's not in your house, it's going to be safe. So technically, cloud concept is like that. So if anything happened to your network inside your office, inside your home, that file cabinet is outside and it's protected. So
all those pictures that seniors have.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I have pictures going back to 1945.
Wow. Those
all
are
right. As my father bought a camera when I was a baby in 1945. Right. So all that information we're starting to put into a computer now. So if the computer burns down, it breaks, that information is still there in that cloud.
Correct. It's in there in that cloud, yes.
Yeah.
But it's very important to set it up correctly, because even you want to set up a cloud, you have to make sure you follow certain rules so you don't lose the files you like, because those files are very precious to many people. They want to have, you said 1945, and for many people, those are the history. They want to go back and look at it. It's good to protect them properly.
Right. So that's the same thing, even in different companies, they have a lot of their history, not only their client or their customer's information.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Or whatever they're working on, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, how to do more security, but they're also out there working on and how to hack into your computer.
That's a very good subject that we want to talk about. That goes we want to start with basic rules for passwords now, because that was in the subject. So the couple things before we start the passwords. If you have a computer, Apple or Windows, doesn't really matter. Make sure when you're done by end of the day, definitely either restart or shut down your computer. Do not lock your screen. There is an option you can lock. Make sure you restart. When you restart, what happened is the connection to your computer will be disconnected. So no one can come in anymore until you log in back. So it's very important. If you go to lunch, make sure you sign out from your computer. Do not leave your computer with all the programs on and say, okay, I'm going to go have lunch.
I'm really bad at doing that. So I know other people are bad at doing that.
So that's very important. Second thing is, make sure you put a screen time out or a screensaver around 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So it means if you forget to do that, and then you can, it has an option, the new option that you can, it automatically log out your computer. So if you forget, after 30 minutes, it will log out or 45 minutes. It depends on how long you want to set it up. It will log out your computer. All these information I'm saying, if anyone has any questions, they can ask us below this show or come to our page, and we're more than happy to help you. So this is the second thing. Third thing is setting up a password. Don't say, oh, I'm not comfortable with this password. I want to put, my name is Arash. I want to put Arash123. That's it. That's the easiest. Otherwise, I won't remember my password. So,
I was looking up passwords, okay? And they say the most common passwords that are used is 11111.
And word password.
Right. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay. What was the other one? A B C D E F G.
987654321.
Right. And those are very common. They're easy to remember, but also easy to hack into.
Very easy to hack. So, but that's a question. Lots of people asking us in all kind of areas, like businesses. Nowadays, you have everything you use are apps, programs, everything. So and then you have like above 50 passwords now, and you said, what should I do? I mean, how do I remember? That's a very, very valid question. So first of all, make sure your bank or financial passwords are not the same as your computer password or your email password. Completely, they should be different, because if someone hack your email, you don't want them to have the password that you use for your bank. So that's a very, very important rule. Second, there are many apps that you can use to protect your password. And how do you do that? For example, one of the very common and famous apps, I'm trying to show you if it's possible on it's called LastPass. So LastPass, you can install it on your phone. It looks like this, or your computer. So it's very, very secure. Now, people will ask, well, how about the password that you log into your LastPass? Because you have to type a password to log into your LastPass. How do you secure that? All these secure password, they have an authentication. It's a little blurry here, but if you see it from the angle, it's going to give a code to me on my phone or any device you want, and then you can log into LastPass and save all your passwords in that application.
Okay. Now I have a question. If I want to use my phone to go into my bank account, okay, and it just looks at my face and it opens up instantly, is that secure?
That's secure. Actually, the Face ID, it's secure if you do it in the secure network. If you're at home, even if you're outside and use your data, it's okay to do that. Yeah, make sure if you connect to a public Wi-Fi, do not go to your financial as easy as unless emergency, go and come back very quick. Just check something, come out. Right. Don't stay there for a long time. Yes.
Okay. Now, one of the things in developing passwords, I was hearing that you need 12 digits.
Correct.
Or you need to have some kind of a phrase that's unique to you, not like the cow jumped over the moon, okay?
Yeah. The password is very important to set it up. So I give you some rules. It's basic rules, but I don't want you to follow because I'm just announcing it. But what I'm saying is, for example, you have a birthday date, um, you can use that, mix it with your first name, last name, and couple characters. For example, my name is like Arash. I was born in 1978. I come up, okay, how do I do that? I say A, capital A, because my first name, number one, 1978, and then the next one is R, 78, something like that. And then above 8 on your keyboard is and%, or above 1 is explanation. So I use that and% twice. And on the left of it is this character, and then on the right of it is number. So what I'm trying to say is a little hard to say it, but you can come up with a pattern that just it. Don't tell anyone about that pattern, and make your passwords with that pattern. So now you can change it for your bank account. You go reverse or however you like it, but always follow a pattern that no one knows except you. I mean, I just came up with birthday, but birthday is usually lots of people know that, but you can mix it up with your parents' birthday, with your siblings' birthday, with your spouses. All these things you can mix it and come up with a password.
Okay.
Not necessarily it's a rule I want to say, but come up with a pattern. So
but if you use the same pattern all the time, and some of these hackers, which are not always people, from what I understand,
not recommended at all. Exactly. That's why I'm saying
they will figure out the pattern.
Patterns. For example, if it's 1978, I'm going to say, okay, from now on, for this password, I'm going to use, I add 2 numbers, and then above that number is this symbol. So I'm going to use something like that. But at least I follow one pattern for, but different passwords.
Okay. Now I know I have Apple computer, and I put in the password, and it takes and it stores it in the key.
Sure.
Okay. Is that secure?
It's kind of secure. First of all, Janice, it's one thing I want to mention, because I want to be honest. Anything is hackable, anything. And if anyone tells you no, it's 100% secure, they're, in my opinion, they're not wrong, but everything is possible. Virus come first, antivirus come next. So hackers come first, then they come with the anti-hack and say, okay, so they could open this door, now we have to put this lock. But they don't say this lock will open the future, they don't know the future. So that's why still not 100%, but in average is very secure, yes, when you put it in keys.
Yeah, because I mean, if somebody hacked into my computer system, they could go in and find out all my.
True. That's why you need that gate that we talk about, very secure, and then your antivirus, very secure, antivirus, anti-spyware. Spyware means those software that comes in and spy your credit card number, your information, you have your passwords and all those things. So yes.
I know I use a couple of the insurance companies that I use. You're not allowed to use any word found in any dictionary.
Yes. Yes.
And it becomes very challenging.
Very challenging. Exactly.
And,
yes.
And I'm always, every 6 weeks, you're changing the password.
That's exactly. So that's why for this, I mean, there are many apps, but I recommend someone like you use LastPass. LastPass. Yes, it was free, but they recently it's like $30 or $28 per year, and you can use multiple devices. So what happened is you can add a Chrome extension, any extension to your computer or laptop. So any password you want, it'll be saved there, and then whenever you want to use it, you can autofill it. So very safe and secure.
Okay, because it's always interesting, because I have a girlfriend, her husband made her this whole list worth of passwords, and I'm going, well, that won't work for me because I'm changing them all the time.
Exactly. And one thing very important, I was thinking about it. What if a car hit me tomorrow? I'm not around. How does my family access to everything I have? And I'm very conservative on password security and all those things. If they don't have it, if I don't show them how, if I don't direct them, then technically they don't have access to many things that we have. So that's very important to find a solution. So someone, I mean, your spouse, your kids, your children, I mean, if they're adults, show them how to access to the master password so they have access, and tell them how important it is, and they need to keep it very secure.
I know I went into a website yesterday, and it had like double passwords that you had to use to get in. So, so it was like, we're confirming that this computer can be used to access this information. Then, of course, now I'm sure, like everybody else, you're getting those little text messages or emails that say, okay, put in your
Get the code. I want to show you that one as well. Talk about that. That's
okay.
very important.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Actually, SMS and the phone calls are very good. Used to be very secure. Even your banks, everyone,
Right.
every department used to use it. Recently, hackers start hacking the phones. It doesn't mean that they're gonna hack it for sure. It's still very, very secure. So if you're using SMS or phone calls, it's still very good. But nowadays, there is another thing came out. All the companies, even your bank has, they call it authentication app, that you can install it. If you have a smartphone, you can use it on your smartphone. So what happened is, for example, I want to log into a website, our antivirus called ESET. We're partnered with ESET. So we log into ESET to see our clients. As soon as we log in, it will ask us, what is the code? We have to open this app and it give me a random code if you see it. Sorry, the light, I cannot show the whole thing, but you can see this code. This code will change every minute. So I have to type this code. If I don't put it within a minute, it gives me a new code. So once I type it, I can go in. In this way, no one have access to this app because it's the app that generate and link to the website I'm using. Let's say I use Chase Bank. Chase has this authentication app. If it's a little complicated for people, please use SMS. SMS is still very safe. Phones are hackable.
Explain what SMS, just in case somebody doesn't know what it is.
SMS is message, text message, sorry. Yes.
Okay.
SMS is text message. So use the text message as you explained that you're using. So for example, you log in Chase and you can put multi-factor authentication. For any website you use right now, all the secure ones, they have an option called multi-factor authentication. And one of the options is text message. You put your phone number, you click apply, okay. Once you log in, it will send you a text message. So once you get that text, there is a code inside that text that you have to type, and then you can log in.
Okay.
Yes, that's called multi-factor authentication. All these things that we talked about was going under the umbrella of multi-factor authentication. Even you using the app, text message, or phone call. Sometimes some people rather, instead of getting text, get a phone call. So an automated phone call you're going to get and give you the code. You type the code. Yes.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Sure.
It's sad that people work to hack into our information, which is a whole business now in its own. Okay. Yes. But they seem to stay, we get one step ahead of them and they take 2 steps forward, then we go 1 step.
Yes. So that's why we have to be protected, be ready, have a good backup. So we should be, it's like you want to go and do a contest, you want to go play tennis, basketball, you want to run a marathon. You want to be as much as you can, be ready, exercise, practice, be mentally ready. So if anything happened, you say, okay, I knew from the past, if this happened, okay, what are my scenarios? I have a backup, I have this one, I have a secure computer that store everything on that one, or many different things. One thing, I don't want to miss that. My parents told me actually a couple of times, if you get a phone call from IRS, if you get a phone call from Social Security, they never gonna call you. They either mail you or they're gonna send you a valid form of like letter or something like that. They never, if someone call you and say, I'm from the Social Security Department, can you give me this information? We want to do this, do that. I mean, for your retirement, for your things, be very, very conscious. Do not give them any information over the phone if they call you.
Yeah. And that goes to the same thing for Medicare. Medicare is never going to contact you. I had I think it's a year ago, somebody called up and said they were from AT&T and they wanted information about my account. And I'm going, you're calling me. So why should I give you information about my account? Then I called AT&T and said, no, we didn't call you. Okay. So it's real important. If somebody calls and asks you for your banking information, hang up and call the bank. They're not going to call. And they sound really convincing. because I've had phone calls from saying, I'm IRS agent 129A, okay? And if we don't get a hold of you right now, we're going to arrest you. And I was standing in line to get on a plane. I'm going, well, come get me over the Pacific Ocean, okay? So it was like, it's a scam. So
Yeah.
anybody that's asking you for any personal information that you don't know who it is and they don't have the correct credentials to get that correct information.
Correct. I totally agree. And email too. Email, if you're using Apple products especially,
Yeah,
and then you purchase, for example, movies from Apple TV,
yeah,
you purchase books from Amazon, AWS, the Amazon books, all those things. If you get the email that says, for example, this is from Apple, and then this is your receipt, please click here to log in, see what it is. Always check the from. You can always click on the top of your email, it says from. If that email doesn't make sense to you, delete it right away. So those are the.
and the same thing I get, I think at least once a week, I get a phone call from credit card services.
Sure, yes.
I hang up on them once a week.
Yes. So those are the things. There is another subject that maybe next time we're going to talk, but I just give you a brief summary. It's phishing email. So I'm just going to give you some titles to be careful. If you get an email, especially at work from your boss, say from your manager, buy these credit cards or buy this gift cards for us and give it to this. Send me this money. Something like that. They're going to send it from your manager name. And sometimes it's it seems valid and it happens. So some of our customers actually paid it. Or if they say, go ahead and transfer this money from this account to this account, be very careful for those emails. It's called phishing email. We have some articles actually in our LinkedIn page that we're going to add. So if you're interested, you can read about it. And also, if you have any questions anytime, please contact us. And we're more than happy to help.
Also, even the phone calls, especially if you're a senior, they really targeted seniors. I have a girlfriend who got a phone call saying that her grandson was in jail.
Oh, yes.
And it was the lawyer calling, okay? And she knew it was phony, okay, from the very beginning. So she played them on. But they had a lot of personal information about her grandson that they knew, but they were asking for money.
Yes.
Do not give them any money.
Do not give them anything.
Yeah. I would call your grandson or call that grandchild or whoever it is or their parent and say, what's going on?
Sure. That is correct. Yes. Do
Right.
not pay the ransom as much as possible. Unfortunately, with ransomware, sometimes they attack if there is no good backup. What they do, they just change the extension. Means, for example, your pictures will be changed. You cannot open anything in your computer, and they give you instruction to pay them usually with cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and all those coins. Very complicated. So, when you pay them, usually they send you the code. You can encrypt it, and it happened to us, not for clients, but for friends that we help. Unfortunately, they had to pay like $3,000, $5,000 to get the code. So that's why it's very important to be prepared for these things like backups, all these things being set up. So if incidents happen, you can protect your.
And I've been hearing more and more about, ransoms have to be paid to get that information back.
Yes,
and
that's very true, Janice. I think that's we talked about it like a couple months ago. It's good for our next show if the audience wants or you think is appropriate. Let's go in depth for ransomware. What are the ways you can protect it? You never can prevent it, unfortunately, because ransomware is not a virus. It's just a program that 90% of ransomware come through the email. And the email you feel is valid, you double click on the file in the email and it goes to the computer and network that you have. So it's very good to be aware of the phishing emails. What are those and how do you prevent them? And also having a good email system, especially for work, even the seniors, it's very, very important.
Oh, it's completely important. And more and more seniors are on are on. Either they came from retiring and they used computers at their work, but more and more people are using it. It's just the way life is right now. I don't know how you can't use it.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Everything is technology now.
But those clever people that try to get your information, they're still out there, and they have computer systems now that are working around the clock to try to break into your information.
Remember quarantine time? They had many free times to go and be more advanced. So that's why lots of hacking and ransom happened in the past 3 months.
Right. So like also people who use social media, the security on that, how secure is that?
Social media is a totally different the concept if you want to go there. I mean, as far as logins, follow the same rules. But as far as the information, just remember this, as much as you share your personal information, these companies, there was a movie on Netflix, I think I've mentioned it last time. I forgot the name right now, but if I find it, I will put it down. It was about the social media, about these people that were working on Facebook, Instagram, like all these big companies, and they talk about it. It's very, very interesting. It's a documentary movie. As much as you send information, they learn about you. So if you go, for example, open your Facebook or Instagram, you see shoes that you were checking out in Amazon or somewhere else 2 days ago or last night. It comes with the news that you like. It comes with all the information. So what happened is they learn about you. It's like artificial intelligence. They know who is Arash, what does he like to eat, where does he like to travel. So based on that, I can sell him this. I can manage him to go to this direction that we like if they want to. So it's very scary and interesting. So that's a totally different subject that we can go over. But what I'm thinking is, for example, if you travel somewhere, do not say, okay, I'm traveling from this airport to that airport, because lots of bad things happen based on that information. It was a police report that I was reading last year. Do not announce that, because people will know, okay, you're not home or you're not. Yeah. So don't share everything. I mean, don't share lots of personal information. Even if you do that, they get lots of information regarding advertisement, but at least for security, do not share your traveling. Okay, I'm going to this house. Our house is empty right now. So, and lots of things. Yeah.
Now you got to have a babysitter at your house.
I know. Exactly. So that's for social media, but it's like a complete the subject that we can talk about.
One of the things that I have found, and I don't know if I'm going outside the realm of security, but if I go online and I'm going to use the shoes, like what you used a couple of seconds ago, all of a sudden I go into Facebook or Instagram, and I've got all kinds of things coming up on shoes.
Sure. Yes, that's totally true. They get the information and they use it, so they see it. And interesting, because a couple of days ago, one of my friends said I was talking about something on the phone, and then in the advertisement I saw it. So
yeah. Well, I had that happen just recently. There's a specific pot and pan that we happen to like. So we gave one as a gift. Sure. And all of a sudden that's all I have is on Facebook, on my email, everywhere. But the scariest one I ever had was I met with a client, okay? And she couldn't find her immigration information.
Right.
And I said, we're gonna have to talk to the immigration office. Sure. So I'm driving down the freeway about an hour later, and my phone goes, oh, get off at the next off-ramp is your closest immigration office.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, whoa.
But to summarize that, Janice, because people will panic now, but to summarize that is, there are things that is under our control. There are things that's not under our control. We should always, in my opinion, I mean, things that not under our control, we can't do anything because it's not under. But things that's under our control, we can manage them the best that we can. So for example, we talked about password security. We can manage them. We can be conscious. We can be careful. We can be proactive. But things that not under our control, we just have to be relax, continue living and enjoy it, you know? So
Yeah. But with those passwords, make sure you're not using your name.
exactly.
Okay. If you're going to use your name, just like Arash said earlier, mix it up with other dates that are common.
Come with a pattern.
And find a program like what you call it, FastPass.
LastPass with L.
LastPass, okay, that's going to work. And he also gave a really other good information. People need to know how to get into that. So if you have your own business, well, somebody needs, if something happens to you, somebody needs to know how to get in there and get that business information.
Sure.
Your personal information, your family needs to know where to be able to find that.
Yes.
And that's just really, it's really important because you don't think about it. What if I'm walking down the street and all of a sudden a car goes out of control? And I had that happen to a neighbor, and it was crazy. Okay.
Like your will and trust. If you don't have it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. A will and trust. But as of now, I don't think wills and trusts require you to put down that information.
Exactly.
But you should at least have the executor of your will and trust know that information.
Sure.
And
Sure.
Arash and I have
your siblings, your children, you know, someone that you trust in your family should have.
There should be someone that has to be taking care of it. So this has been fun as always.
Thank you so much, Janice. It was great. I mean, I always enjoy it.
And I am going to be having Arash, I'm going to have Arash check over my computer system to see how secure it is.
With
so
pleasure.
Right now, this is how you get a hold of Arash at ABC Computech. This is his information right here, his website, his email, and his phone number, okay? And then up above, you have my information. And Arash is always a great guest to have on.
Thank you so much, Janice.
Helpful information. I know I learn something each time that comes on, and because I try to do some research so I can talk to Arash.
You're great, Janice. And I just want to say we have an Instagram page, Facebook page, and LinkedIn. LinkedIn and Instagram, mainly LinkedIn, we try to post. It's all of them are under ABC Computech. And we try to post the good articles, educational as much as possible so people can read. And it's not, we try to put short articles, not long ones. So if you like it, please join and read it.
And that's, here's his website that you could go on. Some of that information you'll find there. You're also going to find this particular broadcast and previous broadcasts you're going to find on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We are now doing podcasts. So it's now going into our podcast library. So you're going to find it there. And of course, we post on YouTube. So Arash, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It's fun as always. And I know we'll get together again soon because these are always fun broadcasts.
For sure. Thank you very much. Wish everyone a safe and great weekend. And yes, enjoy your day.
Okay.